have a quarterback. Jameis Winston is a New York Giant. Welcome back to the Empire State Sports Report. I'm your host, Adrianna. Today's just going to be a quick little episode. I'll do a longer one this week, but today I really just wanted to talk to you guys about the quarterback because I know a lot of us are just like, thank God we have a quarterback. So let's talk about it. I knew this was going to happen. I knew the Giants were going to do this. When I planned this trip to Vegas, first of all, I planned it months ago, but my birthday is March 20th. It's the first day of spring. And when Dead & Company announced that they were doing their residency at the Sphere and it was starting that day, I was like, oh, hell yeah, we are kicking off my birthday weekend and we're going to Vegas for the Sphere. And I thought about free agency and I was like, nah, we're going to be, 7 days or more into it at that point. All the big signings will have happened by then. And then last week happened and I was like, they're going to sign a quarterback when I'm in Vegas. I guarantee it. So anyway, and for those of you who are able to join my live, I'm glad you did. I went live for about 10 minutes because I was on my way to dinner. Just glad they didn't do it during the show. If any of you real quick are a deadhead, you must make it work. Figure out how to work. Use your miles, use your points, use what you have to do. You must go see Dead & Company at the Sphere. My husband and I have been to like 10 or 11 Grateful or Dead & Co. since we were not alive, really, when Jerry was alive. So anyway, have seen a bunch of Dead & Co. shows, and this was unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. The Sphere is incredible. If you're going, sit in the 200 or 300 seats. Night one, we did 2 nights. The first night sat in the 300 seats. It is very steep, kind of like Barclays. So be very careful if you stand up. It's very trippy. Like it feels like you're going to fall forward and die. So we sat for most of the show, which was fine. Everyone around us was sitting because the graphics take up the whole wall in front of you, all around the sides. It is the most immersive experience. If you've been to an IMAX movie, it's like that on steroids. And if you're a Grateful Dead fan and you love the music, it is the coolest experience. Obsessed. I'm so glad I got to do it. We were supposed to go last year. My dog got sick and we had to cancel the whole trip. So if you can go. I'm telling you, it's 100% worth your money. It's like a once in a lifetime, I think, type of experience. So do it. Anyway, Vegas was a great time. Happy to be home. Let's talk Giants now, okay? They signed Jameis Winston. I have seen a couple tweets that I think are funny about it. Number one, this is not funny, but Jordan Renan tweeted today that the Giants are still in the mix for Aaron Rodgers. And all I have to say is, what the fuck, Joe? I know why they're still in the mix for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. But the second, or I think that was the end of the tweet, is that the Giants, even though they signed Jameis Winston, it doesn't really matter. They're still in the mix for Aaron Rodgers, and they're waiting to see what he decides after he spent a wonderful 6 hours in Pittsburgh. I want to know what this man is saying to the Giants, because the gaslighting and the manipulation that this man must be doing to the Giants is unlike anything I think I've ever witnessed in my life, aside from the presidential election that has happened for the last 3 years. But the gaslight, what is he saying to them when all these reports come out that he had a great time in Pittsburgh? And even Pat McAfee is like, everything I heard was the experience of Pittsburgh was fantastic. What is he saying to the Giants that has the Giants believing that they are still in the mix? I don't know, but I want some proof. Screenshots, receipts, someone show them to me, okay? Because I'm dying to know, seriously. Anyway, they're still in the mix for Aaron Rodgers. The other tweet that I saw that was hysterical was, now the Giants have the perfect opportunity to draft Travis Hunter at 3 because he's the perfect weapon for Jameis Winston. He's going to be on the offense when Jameis Winston throws the interception, and then he's going to hustle over to the other side and be on the defense. Wide receiver, corner, perfect mix. Thought it was great. Love it. Don't disagree. Something else that I have seen, which I'm sure you guys have seen at this point too, is the memes. And if I ever figure out how to overlay a photo onto a YouTube video, I will do this, but I'm not really a video editor. The memes, hysterical. Jameis Winston, is going to have 10,000 passing yards for the season. Malik Neighbors is going to have 2,500 receiving yards. And then it's Giants record 3-14. And I just laughed because I was like, it's probably true. That is what it is. But anyway, so here's the thing with the Jameis. I think it's fine. It's 2 years, $8 million. The incentives are up to $16 million, which leads me to believe that there's a possibility that he could be battling it out for the starting role. I'm assuming that wins touchdown interception ratio is probably a large portion of that incentive money, but I like the fact that they signed him for 2 years. I like that we have a veteran. Look, they can probably cut him next year if they want to, and it won't really matter. I think at the very least, the post-game interviews are going to be entertaining. I am going into this season with very low expectations. I've learned my lesson. I know that a lot of us, after looking at the schedule and looking at our team, are like, good luck winning anything this year. But I want to go back to the Aaron Rodgers thing for a second, because I This is why I believe the Giants are still in the hunt for Aaron Rodgers. And I don't like it and I don't agree with it. But I think if you're Joe Schoen, you have to really consider this. I think that John Mara did give them some sort of win mandate. And I think it was like progress is most important. Like if we win 7 games, but the team overall looks better and we're still having a quarterback issue, then so be it. What I think the Giants are thinking is, okay, we have to win some games this year. We have a really tough schedule. Jameis is fine as a backup. I don't really think that we trust him to be a starter if we have to win games for 17 weeks. So you've got Aaron Rodgers, who you know is a proven winner, which this is such a thing for people. And for me, it's just not. Like, you're talking about a 1 or 2 year bridge quarterback. If I think between Jameis Winston or Aaron Rodgers, no one is going to convince me that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a better mentor. They're just not. The guy's a fucking lunatic. So, and he's kind of an asshole. So, who also said, it's not my job to mentor people. So I'm sorry. I just think that Jameis is going to be a better mentor. Now, he obviously has his own issues. The assault allegations are fucked up. And like I said, if they are true, he should be in jail. And I actually don't really know what's going on with the investigation there. But anyway, sidetracked. If you're the Giants and you're still in the Aaron Rodgers hunt, I think that a large part of that is also because Joe has spoken to the Titans and he's spoken to the Browns, and they are both taking a quarterback. And no matter what he says or offers them, it's going to be a repeat of 2024 where he can offer them whatever they want. And they're going to say, we don't care. We need a quarterback. We are taking one, and it is what it is. So I think that now I have nothing to back this up. This is just my opinion. I think that's exactly what is happening. And I think that's why the Giants are still invested in Rodgers. He obviously is leading them to believe that they are still in the mix for God only knows why. But I really think that that's a big part of it. And that Joe is just at the point where he's feeling like, well, if we can't get a quarterback at 3, then we have to prepare ourselves in free agency. I also think, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, they feel like is going to win them the most amount of games. I think Russ Wilson is right behind that. And I do think that if Aaron Rodgers says no, if they sign Russ Wilson and they have Russ Wilson and Jameis Winston, I personally am going to feel like at 3, they're going best player available and they're punting the quarterback to 2026. Now, there is a possibility that they still go for Jackson Dart or they go for Milroe or someone like that. That wouldn't really surprise me in later rounds. I think it would still surprise me if they traded up for Dart, because I ultimately feel like they are in a spot where they feel like they have to win now. And reality is a rookie quarterback's not going to do that. So that's what I think is behind the scenes going on. Like I said, I have nothing to back this up, just my own theories. Let me know what you guys think. If you feel the same way that I do about the Rodgers thing, or you're just can't figure out why they're involved. I don't know. I have spent a lot of time thinking about this, and that's just really what I think it is. And we'll find out soon enough. I hope, God only knows, if he drags us out to the draft, the Giants need to remove themselves immediately. Like, please just don't let it go on that long. It's getting ridiculous at this point. It's already been ridiculous. It's going to get ridiculous if it goes into April and it gets that close to the draft. Like, enough is enough, sir. Figure it out. So anyway, that's where I feel like at the quarterback position, we can run through. I don't know if you guys are like me on this, but I was going through some like stats and stuff on Jameis. And I totally forgot that in 2015, he was the first overall pick by the Bucs. Completely forgot. Did not realize he was drafted that high. He is 31 years old, which I want to keep in mind, because I think that also was a factor as to why they signed him to a multi-year deal versus someone like Flacco or Russ Wilson. Again, we don't even really know what's going on with Russ Wilson. Like, I don't know if he left the building with the offer. Like I said, I was in Vegas. If anyone saw something, let me know, because from what I've seen, I have not seen anything alluding to the fact that the Giants offered Russ Wilson anything and he turned it down or is thinking about it. So I think what happens with Russ all hinges on what happens with Rodgers, which is annoying as hell. We all know. Anyway, he's 6'4", 231 pounds. First overall pick in 2015 to the Bucs. He was there from 2015 to 2019. Saints 2020 to 2023. Browns 2024, obviously Giants 2015. Now, as a rookie, he was in the Pro Bowl and he was picked to the all-rookie team in 2019. He was the NFL's passing yards leader. So he won a Manning Award. He's won a ton of different awards: Player of the Year, Athlete of the Year, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all sorts of stuff in college. So obviously had a very good college career. It's why he was picked number 1 overall. Pro career has been up and down. Some stats for you. Passing attempts, 3,178. He has 1,944 completions. Completion percentage is 61.2%. Touchdown interception ratio is 154 to 111. Passing yards over 24,000. And then his passer rating is 86.4. Now, the last thing I want to say about Jameis Winston, and then what end the episode, like I said, quick today because I have to go. But the one thing I am very curious about is how Brian Daboll is going to run this offense. And the reason that I bring this up is because obviously we saw what he did with Jones in 2022, right? Where the main focus of the offense was not really letting Jones wing the ball around after all the interceptions that he had. And we know how Daboll feels about quarterbacks and their interceptions. So the fact that they signed Jameis also is a little mind-boggling, but it is what it is. So I think that there is a very large possibility that with Jameis, it's going to be a repeat of what we saw in 2022, which is focusing on running, only allowing passing in very certain instances to limit the risk of interceptions, and put some faith and trust in your wide receivers that they can go up there and make the play. Now, I know when it comes to Malik Neighbors, I think they're hopefully going to do what they should have done from week 1 last year, which is Malik Neighbors is the number 1 read every single time. That's how it should be. I think that they will get Theo Johnson more involved because he's not going to be afraid to wing the ball around, which I think about Winston. And this is what I want to see from the passing game. Let Winston throw the ball. Like I have no expectations for this year, and I'm not the coach, so it's obviously very different for me as a fan. But I don't feel like we're going to win a lot of games this year. I have to see it to believe it. So I'm under the guise of you signed Jameis Winston, who is literally known for just throwing the ball all over the place. And not that he's inaccurate, but he's not afraid to throw the ball, whether it's 5 yards, 10 yards, or 50 yards. He's going to throw it. So I think Daboll has to go into this and say, let's start with you winging it all over the field. Let's see how it goes. I trust my wide receivers. That's why I brought back Darius Slayton for 3 years. We have Malik Neighbors. That's why we keep using Wandale on 3rd and short. They trust them to some degree, right? So let Jameis Winston just throw the ball. Let him wing it all over the place. If he has 10 interceptions in 8 games in the first 3 games, then fine. You can switch up the offense, which, I would have liked to see them do more of over the years. Like the game planning, I don't know what goes on in the game planning meetings, but it's very different than what I see. What I expect happens in the meetings versus what I see on the fields on Sundays are extremely different. So God only knows. But anyway, I really want to see that. Like for me as a fan, that's the enjoyment of someone like Jameis. Like he's not afraid to throw the ball, and I want to see him throw the ball. If Malik Neighbors has 2,000 yards, we only win 4 games, whatever. It sucks for them. That's what I expected as a fan. But like at least Malik Neighbors has 2,000 yards. At least he had a fun season. At least we got to watch the quarterback throw the ball instead of, I don't know, throwing it away or taking sacks that they're not supposed to take. Like that's what I would rather see. Again, I don't really think Daboll's probably not going to go for that. And look, one of Jameis's best years was when he was with Sean Payton on the Saints, and he was running essentially the same offense that the Giants ran in 2022. He had less than 200 yards passing per game, but he had more wins and a better touchdown to interception ratio. So I would not be surprised at all if that's exactly the move that Brian Daboll does. So that's where I'm at with Jameis. We obviously will see how things go over the next couple weeks. Let me know how you guys feel about the Jameis Winston signing in the comments, and I'll be back later this week to talk more things Giants. I have an announcement which is coming too that I'm excited about, and I will see you then. Make sure you like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of your week in the meantime.